Hello everyone, welcome to Pragmatic Talk with Alexis and Sajj. We are bringing you hot topics, debates, reaction videos. We have one tonight on interracial couples, so let's get it started.
I have unintentionally been racist towards my partner. 3,
Wait, pause
2,
it.
1, go.
Have you been unintentionally racist towards me?
Slightly. I don't know how much. I want to see what the topic is about. I would say yes a little bit.
All right, good to know.
What about you?
We know which way we're going. No, I'm not racist.
How?
I definitely.
I'll say
definitely
agree.
been ignorant.
So we were. So we had an argument, and I was upset, and I had previously expressed how the stereotype or the stigma on angry black men or angry black women and how that makes me feel. And so we got into an argument. I was an angry black man, but in that moment of anger, he actually called me an angry black man. Which
is like the worst thing
made
to
me
say.
go crazy because that was like the one thing, and I was like talking to him about. So that was a really bad fight, and it never happened again.
Are you all not together anymore?
I strongly disagree, but I think as just a white person, I am just inherently ignorant, so I think I'm gonna move to somewhat agree. Dating a black man has completely opened my eyes more than I already thought they were open,
To be fair, you've never said anything that made me feel like, damn, she's racist,
Are there
I'm from the
couples
Bay.
in here?
So
Yes.
it used to be in my vocabulary where I would say the N-word with the A. I would rap it. I would do just those things. But my slang in general would just tick her off. And then I became conscious of it, and I really liked her. Or I still do, of course. I love you. I started changing the way I speak. I feel like she should be over here too.
She would too.
Do Asian accents.
Oh no.
The only time that I feel like I could be offending Asian people is when I'm mocking you when you're mocking your mother.
There it is.
So I only do the accent when he does it, making fun of his mom. Before that, I
blamed it all
never
on
did
him.
that.
Right.
Okay, guys, so we're going to do something different. This is called hot takes. And basically, we had our audience submit hot takes and assumptions that they make about interracial relationships. They're really hot.
Oh boy.
Sex gets steamy since you are interracial.
I mean, I think it adds to.
I like the
appeal.
differences between us.
I don't know.
I don't.
Definitely.
I wouldn't
there's
say
not
that
like
it
any weird
changes.
role play or anything. But yeah, definitely, makes it fun.
I will say, like, when I'm not with you, people will like be like, oh, like, I know why you're with the black guy. And it's like, that's like super disrespectful, because it's like, that's like definitely like on the line of like fetishizing, like
Right,
a
right.
race.
There's not many sexual.
I would say that. I never thought about that, but that would be a fetish more than a relationship. If you're with a person for just sexual desires.
Yeah.
That would be a fetish. That wouldn't be a relationship.
Yeah, because I don't
to me.
see. Yeah.
But like walking down the street, especially dating an Asian woman, like I get looks from men all the time, and like, oh, like right? And like people like actually like calling me out while I'm right next to her.
Interracial relationships can be a fetish, and that's okay if it's love too.
Nah.
Even if you love the person, you just
They're
fetishizing
together,
that
at
person
least.
is
feel like it
good at all.
devalues
Yeah,
it.
and you're devaluing the entire community in itself.
I think there's always room for growth, so I can understand if it starts as a fetish and then along, the relationship, they actually fall in love with that person and they realize that, okay, it wasn't okay for me to initially just like you based off of that.
If it's between
That's
two
weird.
consenting adults, the freak stuff in the bedroom, if race sprinkles is put into that context, what do we think of that? Like, it's just in the bedroom, or is it like possible to just keep it in the bedroom?
How would race be put into the bedroom?
Use your imagination. And I'm not.
it doesn't even matter if you're consenting or not. It's still wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Like you want to say that stuff. You want to do that stuff because of the stereotypes you have of those people, and that doesn't really sit right with me whatsoever.
I'm lost.
What do you lost
What are
about?
they talking about? Say what? Because I personally know people that would, want to sleep around with certain kind of races and stuff
So
like
then
that.
that's a fetish. They're curious.
But say what?
What do you mean?
Say what though?
Say what? What?
He said if the person wants to say something, say this or that. What are they talking about? That's why I'm lost.
He was being very general. He was stating to the fact that guys are walking by him and winking at him like, "Oh, you're with an Asian girl, you get it." He's not really saying anything.
Babies.
I have always wanted mixed babies.
1, go.
At one point in my life, I kind of wanted to have mixed babies with almost every race.
He's doing big things. Okay, so answer this question.
I didn't hear the question. What was the question?
I have always wanted mixed babies.
That's not something I always wanted. And the way I was raised, or where I was raised, it wasn't such a thing.
No such thing as mixed.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, not so much about mixed. It was, we didn't have a lot of diversity where we were. So I can't answer that. I wouldn't know.
So to the people that don't know, where are you from?
I'm from Pakistan. Conservative country.
How long were you there?
12 years. I was raised out there. I lived my whole teenage life out there. So it would be hard for me to say yes or no to that, because where that culture, it's more about the skin color than the race.
Because you guys are all the same.
Everyone's the same. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to answer that.
It's weird. But I just wanted, I'm real into genetics. I would like to see how my kids would turn out. And,
see, not me.
Every race. Jeez. As a mixed race person myself, you don't have a group of people to really be around. I mean, sometimes you connect with one side, sometimes you connect with the other side. But for me, it sucked actually a lot. I've accepted myself. I'm black and proud. I love the fact that I have both of these cultures, and I really don't care. I just have to teach my kids that because of your skin tone, you either gain privileges or lose privileges.
Like I've had people at work, like we'll be talking about ourselves, and I'll show them a picture of Ivan, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I totally wanted black babies like when I was like a teenager," and it's just like, this isn't Build-A-Bear, like
Right.
this is a human.
That's weird to me.
So
And I actually have an 8-year-old mixed child. It's been very challenging, but I've had to stick it out because I want to be a good father and I care about my kid. So
This isn't Build-A-Bear, this is real life. And in my mind, I wanted to have kids that was exactly my skin tone or very close to it and look like me, because I am conceited as well. Where the hell I'm gonna find somebody to do that and it work out and they're just the perfect wife? I don't believe in that anymore.
It's funny because that
Who's
was
you with?
actually something we talked about
Her?
when we first started dating. That became an insecurity of mine. I was like, so why are we dating? Because I cannot provide absolutely any of that for you. And so I understand, like I said, why he feels that way, why a lot of the black community feels that way. So I'm just glad that I'm accepted now in our relationship for that.
I sometimes feel like I betrayed my own race. 3.
Okay, you got to pause it and answer that.
I betrayed my own race.
You did?
For the older folks, yeah. Like for the older generation, they always had, like I said, in that country where we lived. It's more like that. You stay in your own race, and that's where you grow. And actually, they even go into caste system.
Yeah.
So the person has to be from the same caste, not just the same race, from the same caste, almost from the same village or the same city. It goes deep out there. So if you look at it that way, yeah, definitely. But I don't think I did. But
Ooh, half
I
and
definitely
half.
feel like that, man. I feel like,
that's
especially
not
where
half
I'm
and half.
from,
That's
Almost.
70-30.
Oh, I didn't
did
see
black
that.
people
Just-
Oh, no, on the poll it was
into that
70-30.
Oh,
stereotype.
okay.
And knowing what I stand for now, it's hard for me to feel like I'm gonna be taken serious in the future if I ever wanna speak on controversial topics. My people won't respect what I say because like it doesn't add up, my views and stuff, and then I'm dating
That's
somebody
true.
outside of my race behind the scenes. I feel like I lose respect in a way.
Me growing up, like I was never always seen as black, whether it was because of how I looked or how I talked or my culture, but then when
This is actually a really big issue, and I hear a lot of things about it. This is actually worse than racism. People not letting their kids or families interact or marry other races is actually, especially in my religion, it's actually very against it. As long as you're the same religion, it's permissible. But if it has something to do with because you're not accepting the person because of their skin color or where they're from or how they lived, stuff like that, it's actually against the religion. But people have made it so normal.
Part of the culture.
Yeah, it's part of the culture now that it's in every household. It's so strong and thick, and I think it's worse than racism because a lot of times the kids fight against that.
Mm-hmm.
The same way they would for bad habits like smoking, like doing stuff like that. It's actually something that they put into the kids that you can't go for this race or that race, stuff like that. And I think it's worse than racism.
Yeah.
Because you're manifesting that in your own household. You're telling your own kids to do this. It's a form of racism.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's messed up.
I get with someone who's not black, right? They're like, oh, you're portraying
Like
us.
being
I
shamed
get
for
comments
it,
during my
even
videos,
for the
they're
black
like,
race.
oh,
Like,
Alex,
why?
you're not with us no more, right? And I'm like, do you want me or do you not want me, you know? It doesn't bother me if you don't want me, and I understand it is what it is, but don't pick and choose and don't nitpick little things, right? If you want me to be part of your community, then accept me for who I am. Don't say that because I'm half, I don't get to participate in certain topics or certain discussions.
Being linked to another race has its benefits.
Mm-hmm.
3,
Most definitely.
2,
Depends
1,
on the race.
go.
Most definitely. Any race.
Really?
You can always learn something from a new race.
Oh yeah, that's
A race
true.
that
If you
you're
look
not
at it that way.
I guess
Yeah.
I feel like
The
word
food,
like
the
linked
culture,
kind
the
of confused
holidays.
me because I feel like experiencing another person's experience, like what their culture, like the way that they live, is definitely personally beneficial. But I think that like in terms of how others view me because I'm dating a white man, I don't find that beneficial. Like I feel like people might have like preconceptions about who I am because I'm an Asian person who's chosen to date a white man. Yeah, I had a question for, I guess, other people. Like, do you ever feel like being with a white person like could shield you from like discrimination, or like that they could like stand up for you in discrimination? Like if you were in like an altercation with the police,
Is that your
like,
plan?
have a white person there, like
Sure.
right? It would be
In
helpful.
that sense, I think that's what I kind of thought of when I heard the question and I was listening to you. It's just like, I don't know, even a customer service experience. I don't know, just random experiences where the person on the other side might judge me based on me being black, but versus someone else calling, or him calling, and
This whole thing is so like on the top level. They're not even scratching the surface. They're not even going in. They're talking about customer service and is there benefits.
I mean, well, they're saying that it's shielding them from discrimination.
How would that?
I don't know. We're the same color. So
Yeah, how would that?
it's a whole different experience. So they might treat us individuals differently. So there might be a whole different experience based on just that.
I feel like an outsider with my partner's family. 3,
Do you?
2, 1, go.
You answer that question.
Do I feel like an outsider with your family?
Yeah.
Yes and no. There's some things that I don't understand, and there's some things that I do understand. So I would say it's like a 50-50. When it like
50-50.
Yeah.
Really?
Or 70-30, for instance. Like I feel comfortable, but
Okay.
the thing is like certain things, certain jokes, certain things that you were talking. Yeah, I won't
You don't
understand it.
understand
And, yeah, and the same thing for you. You wouldn't understand the same thing for my
Well, when
family.
you guys are speaking in Punjabi or Urdu, I
Correct.
don't understand.
Correct.
So.
Or even in Ebonic English, I don't understand those certain terminologies used.
Yeah.
The other day you were talking about something, and I was like, "What is that?"
What was it?
When we were going somewhere fast or something like that.
Oh, when I said I was gonna
2 wheels.
coming in on 2 wheels.
Yes.
That's funny. Okay.
So I'm sorry, Grace. In our lives, especially today, recently, politics plays such a huge part in it. And because you come from a conservative household, that's different from where I come from. And it does make me a little bit uncomfortable to know
He
that
went all the
I'm
way
gonna
to
be
the other
meeting
side.
people and have to have close
She's on the other
relationships
side.
with them, and they don't value what I feel like I value in my life.
But the white
He's
and
actually
black
the
race
first
have such a beef.
Black man I have
Yeah.
ever dated, and
He'll be
the
strong.
only person of color within like my family, just in of itself. And so certain members of my family with the same political values as us like had to kind of confide in me like, hey, we support you with whoever you date, like we're here for you. So it was interesting to kind of see the different sides of my family members that I didn't necessarily know.
When I met her father for the first time, we were walking to get food and we saw the Ronald Reagan Museum or something like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I love Ronald Reagan, right? And you can have your own personal opinions on presidents, but Ronald Reagan was like, he's like the main reason why black people are incarcerated. He's not a very good person to black people. So I was just kind of cracking up about that, and I was kind of awkward, and I know you kind of bit your tongue on that as well.
Yeah, it was hard to not say anything.
But I was thinking about saying something to maybe like be like, oh, I don't know about that, but I didn't want to like argue with your father
The first
on the very
impression.
first day that I met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't
He
be
said
very
it
fun.
on purpose.
Yeah.
But you have to find out
I
why
don't know
he
if I
liked
can
him.
exactly truly
You
connect
can't
with
just
them
judge him
because
off
of
of
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
He's a very nice person, obviously, and he makes me
Is
feel
he?
comfortable, but at the same time I have to recognize who I am as a person.
I would say I somewhat agree because with my partner's family, there's a language barrier. So I guess it's my responsibility now to try to learn the language, but sometimes when we're together, they're talking, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think
that's the biggest barrier.
why I feel like an outsider, but other than that, I feel welcome.
And the crazy part is, usually it's not even intentional. Because that's our mother
So
tongue.
the first time that I rode, it was I think the first time I met your brother, and we were taking him to the airport, and this was the first member of your family that I had met, and I was in the back seat, and you guys talked to me, but then I remember like halfway there, not only did you guys put on the Punjabi music, but then you guys started chatting, and I'm like in the back seat. I don't know.
No, I can definitely understand that. I think instead of race, that would be the biggest separation part. Is the language, yeah.
And as I'm trying to learn how to speak, it's super difficult to try to learn how to speak your language.
But the problem with you would be because we don't just speak one language, we speak 3 different languages.
Yeah.
You know.
Interchanging.
Yes.
Constantly.
Fluently. So we're in a conversation, like with my mom, I speak a different language, with my brother, I speak a different language. Because my mom's more comfortable with that. So it would be hard for you to catch on to certain things and stuff like that.
3,
No.
2, 1, go.
I wish we were the same race was the question.
I'll start. I feel like that would just be the default easiest way to
What was the question?
navigate through
I
life.
wish we were the same race.
But definitely, obviously, growth happens when you're in interracial relationships. But yeah, that's kind of why I chose somewhat agree.
Yeah, I guess it, like you were saying, like I just feel like it would be easier in some aspects, and then for me, just like being mixed race, I
Just
have
go get
felt
a guy
very
from your own race
disconnected
then.
from my culture. So I feel like dating someone who was like Chilean or who was Korean would help me.
If
But I
he
also
was
agree,
from
like,
your
obviously
race, that
if
guy
you were
right there,
white,
you
it
wouldn't
would
pick him.
you.
She would
And
not pick
so
him.
I don't like wish that, and
The benefits outweigh like what I gain. It kind of sounds weird coming out because it's like, what do you guys get out of dating white people? But like, white people, I feel like we learn a lot.
I think it's interesting that everybody's saying that they feel it's easier, because I feel like it would be more difficult, me having a black man and raising a black family, that it would be more difficult if I was maybe with someone who was white, who could probably have benefits in other ways. I'm grateful for my
It's kind of
husband.
cringy.
I love
That was
being
kind of
with him.
cringy.
And I think there's a lot of benefits, just culturally.
And
Sis.
guys, that is officially
I think she's
a
Muslim as well.
wrap.
Who's wearing a head wrap? No,
You never know.
that's a head wrap.
Also got you some really cute.
She could be, but
Oh, nice.
okay. So, all in all, moral of the story is you're racist, and I am not. And
That's not true. That's not true. I've seen some of your family members that are racist. They would not.
My
accept-
family?
Well, just in general, like there's people out there from the same race.
Yeah.
Maybe your family, far family, but they don't accept.
I definitely
people from
have
outside.
family within my own family though that's racist because half of my family is white, half of my family is black, and in that itself,
Yeah, there you go.
they
Yeah,
don't
so-
even like each other. But then I do have some family members that would be opposed to me being with a Pakistani man.
Yeah, they would want you to be with one certain race or the ones that they're comfortable with, basically.
Yeah, some people just don't understand, and that's okay.
Yeah. But thank y'all for joining.
Yes, we'll see you next time.